Very good evening to all of you, Dhamma friends. Thank you, Brother Ang, for the gracious introduction today. I think still Sister Sonia has been recovering from medical treatments in Canada, Toronto. We wish her uh, good health, being able her to come back to the MC role. All right, so let's pay respect to the Buddha and then we'll get started. Sutta discussion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Last Tuesday, we left up at the what you call the first noble truth, and today we are going to discuss about the second noble truth. The second noble truth is about the cause of the dukkha. Now, on that day, that means last Tuesday, I shared with you that dukkha, the Pali word dukkha, has been a very misused word. Probably it's one of the very popularly in the Buddhist context and also in the non-Buddhist context, highly misregarded, misused word. I mean, not the word itself, the idea, the what you call the interpretation side. Dukkha has been always translated as suffering in the early Western scholarship, not in the Asian scholarship. I would say in 17th century, 18th century, early 19th century. Then scholars and what you call practitioner monks and nuns, others, they thought dukkha cannot be suffering all the time. It can mean a lot of things. So suffering, the English word suffering comes from Christian context of hells. When someone did bad things, this person is going to be reborn in hell, and that that person suffers. But yes, in Buddhist teachings, there are hells. When someone is reborn in a hell, that person can suffer. But the Pali word dukkha, in terms of the Four Noble Truths, is not just about suffering. It's about dissatisfaction. You know, since morning till evening, how many frustrations have been happening to all of us, right? Say for instance, someone starts the day early in the morning. Maybe the tea and the coffee might not work. Probably it's not happening the way that that person expects. Maybe an unexpected things arises. So there could be a mild frustration, irritation, annoyance. So this could be a dukkha to that person. And that person can lash that dukkha to other people as well, right? So then other people also feel the dukkha of that person. And then the whole house can become a dukkha at that point. So it's not suffering. That means just because your day is not starting well and you are lashing that dukkha at other people, and other people also felt, I would say, terrified, maybe affected with your this thing, and then it can be a whole mass of dukkha. So dukkha in that context means frustration, disappointment. It's not always suffering. It is a choice. I mean, with the frustration, you can take it to the suffering, right? But what we understand is we cannot control people. We cannot change circumstances. We cannot change our other people. So we will have to understand, right? So when we understand more, that frustration can become a moment of practicing Dharma, isn't it? Then you will think that this is a good time that you can be patient. This is a good time that you can be what you call more what you call listening to other people. But when other person is trying to lash or maybe give that frustration at another person, if the other person is also going to come up with the same frustration, then there will be a dukkha. So that means we can minimize, we can sometimes avoid the way how we deal with it. Please keep in mind the Buddha's way of explaining dukkha in terms of the second noble truth start from this kind of a mild frustration, mild disappointment, maybe a little irritation, maybe a small annoyance, and then it will range up until a massive suffering, right? So I think we've been discussing that last Tuesday. Remember how we discussed? It is said that rebirth is a dukkha. I think it is a dukkha to some people, most people. Let's say someone is reborn with a silver spoon in the tongue, isn't it? I mean, in a royal place, in a family where every comfort is given to that person without any problem. So that person might feel my rebirth is good. I have everything from my parents, from my loved ones. But let's say someone is reborn into a family where there are no comforts, even the minimal needs. That person might think, what a dukkha is this? Sometimes you are reborn to a good family, but there may be other issues. So the Buddha says, jati, rebirth, can be a dukkha to most people. But understanding that dukkha is very important. And at the same time, he says, you can change your karma. What if somebody is reborn as a cat or a dog, maybe a hungry ghost, maybe probably a human whose eyes are blind, bonely, who cannot speak, who has, I would say, other physical issues, disability issues, right? When you compare yourself to somebody like that, how blessed are you? So that can be a dukkha to that particular person. So that's why jati, rebirth, can be a dukkha, right? But for most of you, it might not be a dukkha in that sense. But we have to understand, if we are not behaving well, that means our jati may be different in the next life. Then jara. Jara, I'm trying to recap what we discussed last Tuesday, and then go into our today's topic. Jara, aging. Now, we don't feel the aging is a dukkha. Nothing is hanging, nothing is like feeling uncomfortable to us. But the moment that you're having issues with your body, and you yourself see that as a body image awareness, white hair, wrinkles, broken teeth, maybe physical discomfort, you feel that you cannot like extend your limbs the way you want, stretch out. You feel my own body has become a problem to myself. But the Buddha always says, it is our responsibility to graciously age. There are people who age ungraciously. They are not taking care of their body. Taking care of the body is important. And the Buddha said that if somebody is not taking care of the body, not sleeping well, not eating properly, that means this person has not learned Dhamma properly. That is why, if you ask such people, why are you not behaving well? Why are you not taking care of it? Everything is anicca. If everything is anicca, then why are we learning all this? Right? We are learning the true Dhamma to become better human beings, individuals, physically, mentally, emotionally. So aging is happening. Now, even if you take a look at of aging from teenager time to young adults, maybe adults mid-age, you won't feel that aging is a problem. But probably mid-age onwards, probably in your different decades, you might feel that, yes, this body that I'm having for myself can be a problem if I don't take care of it. That is what we call dukkha that can come from aging, decay. And then sickness, we call it vyadi. We all get sick. Even the Buddha got sick, right? So it's a simple thing. Even in many suttas, even the Girimananda Sutta, in many suttas, Buddha said, even feeling hungry, feeling thirsty, also a sickness, right? So because we have to go eat something, go grab something to eat, right? Uh, when you are thirsty, then you have to go and drink something, right? Sometimes there are people who cannot satisfy their urge. They want to go open the fridge all the time, eat, keep eating the whole day, compulsive eating, and then they get sick at a certain point of time. Like remember the time that we all got locked down in your country, you call it SOP, right? It was not lifted throughout that particular time, and then you may have addicted to a compulsivity, right? So uh, there are a lot of sicknesses that can come to us if we do not take care of our body. It it is a Buddhist thing to take care of our body. Buddhists are not keeping everything to anicca. Anicca is an understanding. When you understand anicca, you can take care of yourself very well. You can understand life very well. It's not that you are bringing negativity into your life. I think that is a wrong way of learning Dhamma. Probably they have cherry picked certain areas. So, anyways, we don't know what sicknesses we can get, but so far we understand that we can minimize certain health issues if we take care of us, but sometimes unexpectedly certain sicknesses can come to us. Maybe a cancer, maybe probably dementia, maybe probably Alzheimer, right? All these can happen. We never know. Maybe a disease that can come to us that can take one individual out of million people in the world. Now, I had a friend somewhere in Canada. He was a very good gentleman, but he got a sickness called the protein of his brain cells are auto-degenerating. The doctor said we cannot do anything because the cells, the protein scale of the cells of his brain auto-degenerating. So they cannot do anything. They did everything. Finally, he passed away within a year of time. Anyways, he had no problem in the family history too. So, this could happen to anybody, right? But just because of that, if you are thinking that you will die, get sick, that is also a problem. Not everybody is like that. So we are trying to improve our state of mind, improve our state of emotion, be surrounded with the Kalyana Mittas, practice the proper Dhamma, the true Dhamma, be helpful. So you are carrying out a lot of positive vibes into understanding Vyadi. Then Marana, death. Death is not a very big miracle. It is a part of our life. But are we prepared to die? Have we spent a very good life? Have we spent our life properly? Are we leaving behind good things when we are dying? Or are we just like eating and drinking people when we die? Right? So we have to understand these things, which can come as a dukkha. And then the Buddha says, Piyehi vippayogo dukkha. You are liking to be surrounded by loved ones. But when the loved ones are not with you anymore, then you feel like separation. The Buddha says it is a dukkha. We would like to always be surrounded by the loved ones. And then on the other hand, appiyehi sampayogo dukkha. If we are surrounded by the people whom we don't like, we dislike, it is also a dukkha. So we are trying to find out our good people to be surrounded by. That's why, some people, they are invited for a party, even they are calling beforehand, is that person attending this event? Just to make sure that somebody that they are not liking is attending this event, so to walk away even before the event is happening, right? As Buddhists, yes, you don't have to create anger, unnecessary anger, unnecessary frustrations, but there is a certain dukkha in all that. And then the Buddha says, if people do not understand dukkha's varieties, jati, jara, vyadi, marana, then some suttas discuss more varieties of dukkha. Soka, parideva, dukkha, domanassa, upayasa. The Dhammacakkappavattana does not mention all that. I think I told you there is another sutta called Satchavibhanga Sutta. Satchavibhanga Sutta is the explanation about the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. which was explained by Arahant Sariputta. In that sutta, he says more varieties of the dukkha. It's not just jati jara vyadi mara. There are more extensions called soka. Soka means grief, and then parideva means lamentation, and then dukkha means physical pain, and then domanassa means mental pain, and what's the other one? Upayasa. Upayasa means despair, disappointment, despair, disappointments. So at the end of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta's analysis about the dukkha, Buddha says, if you do not still understand what the dukkha is, let me tell you. Sankittena, in brief, panchupadanakkhandha dukkha. Clinging to the 5 aggregates is the dukkha. In whatever the ways, how is the dukkha being formed? In clinging to the rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vinyana. That is where we are creating dukkha. If you can use the 5 aggregates without clinging, there is no dukkha. We can minimize the dukkha. There's little to no dukkha. But if you are clinging to it, that means you are going to have lots of greed about it, then definitely there is dukkha. All right, now we are moving on to our today's topic. What is today's topic? The second noble truth. The second noble truth is the cause of dukkha. Now we have to find out, as Buddhists, we are trying to find out the cause of any issue. Now, when I was giving talks about the second noble truth long time ago, back in Canada, I was always trying to show people that when there is a problem in our life, we have to find the reason why the problem is arising. Then I was giving an example. Now, let's say mosquitoes are biting us, right? There's a household, your house, and now there are a lot of mosquitoes. And now there's somebody's asking a question from me. Bhante, there are mosquitoes in my room. Should I kill or just let them bite me, take my blood? Then my response to that was a cross question. How did the mosquitoes come in? Maybe you are not keeping your house clean and tidy. Maybe you have left doors, maybe windows open during the day, right? Maybe you are not properly maintaining your household, right? And there may be other issues which you may not be able to fix. So always go back to the cause and find the reason. But there are certain things you have to do by looking at the result. Now we are learning a lot of things from the results, right? Let's say we experience a very bad thing in our life. Let's say you experience a very bad experience, thing with somebody. Then you are not going to let this happen again, right? Isn't it? Let's say you really dealt with a very bad situation with somebody, maybe a certain place. So then there are 2 ways to look at it. But in terms of understanding dukkha, it is better to go back to the cause. How my dukkha, how your dukkha, my dukkha arises. How does the dukkha arise? It is, I think everybody knows, it is by tanha. Pali word I would type in here. Tanha. Okay. Tanha. Tanha, there are many English meanings, interpretations for tanha. Tanha means craving. Now, what does craving mean? It is very interesting to understand this craving. Now, if you look at the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, let me show you the text over here. You can see from here. This is how the Buddha explains this part to the 5 ascetics. Idang kopana bhikkhave dukkha samudaya ariya satcham. Now he is going to explain the cause of the dukkha to the 5 ascetics. Yayang tanha pono bhavika. Now he explains dukkha a little bit more. Pono bhavika means when you have the tanha, that means craving, that creates next life. That leads to the next life. Then Nandi Raga Sahagata. It is accompanied by, connected to the delight and lust. Nandi Raga Sahagata. And Tatra Tatra Abhinandini, and seeking delight here and there. If you could remember, there are many about the stories, many stories that we learn about how people took their life to the next life. Remember that there were two wives to one man in one story, in the Dhammapada, and then they were, I think, having an issue, and one passes away by thinking that I'm going to eat your children in next life, creating a sansaric anger. And then somehow what happened that both are reborn separately, differently, and then one is eating other person's children, other person's eggs, other person's little ones. So the anger, this huge, what you call resentment, has been going for many, many lives. I think in the last life, what happened was that there was one lady was reborn as a normal person in Savatthi, and then the other one became a yakini, the female yakka. Now every time the other woman, other lady is giving birth to children, human children, the yakini is going to her house, having a chat with the human, what you call the husband, and asking him to play with the children and eating them. Finally, Buddha helps this yakini to stop doing this sansaric. So that means when you are creating unnecessary things, then this will go from one life to the other life unnecessarily. But at the same time, if you look at Yashodhara and Siddhartha's relationship, it has been there for 500 lifetimes. They've been in love for 500 lifetime. Because now somebody might make an argument. Then if the Punarbhava, if the rebirth is bad, then how does a Bodhisattva going to perform the paramita? How does the Bodhisattva is going to fulfill the paramita perfections? How does someone fulfill the perfections to become an arahant? Now this means when we practice our paramitas, dana, sila, nekkamma, panya, viriya, kanti, aditthana, satcha, metta, upekka, there is certainly a rebirth that is happening. But we have to understand that we are taking a risk here because we want to fulfill the paramitas. Paramitas means the Buddha said, just because you meditate today, just because you do a good karma today, that does not cost, that does not help you to become an arahant in one day. You have to fulfill, complete 10 paramitas, maybe 20 paramitas, maybe 30 paramitas fully. Otherwise, that's why you might think that at the Buddha's time, there was somebody who came to the Jetavanaram, listened to a Dhamma talk, and attained Nibbana. And we are going to our local temple every day for 30, 40 years. We've been listening to many Dhamma talks from many of these famous, non-famous bhaktis, but we have never come to any attainment. Why is it? Is it because of the Dhamma talk problem? Is it because of whose problem is that? It is the lack of our paramitas. That means you still need to work on it. You still need to be reborn and fulfill your paramitas. That's why we are not there. Yes, today you might be okay. You might think that I've been doing it, but why you are not come to that point? You still want to work on it. You still have not come to that level. That means you still have to cultivate dana, sila, nekkamma, panya, viriya, kanti, and all these paramitas. There are people who think that they wrongly understand. They listen, they browse one sutta. They say, oh, there was one bad guy who went to Jetavanaram, who went to Veluvanaram. And then he was very bad. And he listened to only a very short Dhamma talk, he became an arahant. So why can't I? But they don't know the history behind this person. They only look at that particular sutta only. That's where you need the proper instructions. Why he became an arahant? Why he became a sotapanna? Because he has done the homework in his or her previous lives. Why you can't be like that? You haven't done them properly. Maybe you still need to work on it. So we have to be very careful in understanding certain suttas. Don't just go read and try to interpret in your own way, because you might not come to that wisdom a lot. You still want to work on that wisdom. So rebirth may be necessary for us to work on it, but still we have to understand, when you are looking at Nibbana, rebirth is a problem. But till we get there, we have to be humans and then do more good karma. At the same time, work on these paramitas. That is what we want. But still you need to understand that being reborn can be a dukkha all the time, because we never know where we will be going to be reborn. Let's go back to the text again. Then here, tatra tatra abhinantini. Then there are three types of cravings which the Buddha explained to us. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Don't take them in isolation. These are very important aspects, okay? Now, kama tanha means craving for sensual pleasures. Bhava tanha means craving for becoming, to be reborn. Vibhava tanha means craving for non-becoming. Now, let me tell you, kama tanha. Can we live without kama? And we all live without kamas. What are the kamas? Rupa, Saddha, Gandha, Rasa, Pottabha, Dhamma. Rupa means sights. Then Saddha means sounds. Gandha means smell. Rasa means taste. Pottabha means touch. Dhamma means thought. Can we live without enjoying these six? Are we supposed to live without enjoying them? No, we have to enjoy. But be careful. When you enjoy them, that is the place where you have to keep the boundaries. We are enjoying by knowing our own boundary. Not that we are enjoying that. Things that we are enjoying will tell us the boundary. Does that happen to people? Now, when people are enjoying a certain food, when they are enjoying a certain sound, when they are enjoying a certain sight, what is happening to many people is that the objects of that pleasure is mostly going to control that person. The Buddha says, when you are enjoying anything out of the kamas, rupa, saddha, gandha, rasa, pottabha, dhamma, you need to set your boundaries. That is up to you. But enjoying is not bad karma. Without enjoying, how are you going to understand it? Right? That's why when you teach Dhamma to young people, they might not understand, because they're still enjoying the kamas. Isn't it? When they come to a certain age only, they will come to a point that, this is true. I had a lot of rupa, I had a lot of saddha, gandha, rasa, pottabha, dhamma. Now only I understand the problem with this. But 10 years ago, I didn't know. I just enjoyed. It's okay, no problem. It is that person's hands-on experience. So enjoying the pleasures is not bad, but you have to set your own boundary. What you are doing, what you are going to do with all that. But how it became a problem to someone when that urge to be with karma turned to a tanha. Tanha means that you are greedy about it. You are so much greedy about that particular karma. Then you are going to control, you are going to be uneasy with that, because you are not experiencing them. You are going to be so much greedy on those things. Now, in modern world, there is a word for that. What is it? Addiction. Is that a good word for that? Addiction. Addiction to food, addiction to what else? Chocolate. We call chocoholic people. I'm chocoholic. Say, there are people who are addicted to alcohol, alcoholic people. Nobody talks about, I'm addicted to Dhamma, I'm a Dhammaholic. Nobody talks. There's no word called Dhammaholic. Because we don't say, don't addict to Dhamma also, then you become Dhammaholic. Because any holic can be a problem over here. Because addiction is the modern way of understanding that you don't have limits, because it is blasting on. So you are setting the boundaries for your karmas. If you are not setting the boundaries, that means you are having karma. So Buddha says this is one type of tanha. Why our dukkha arises. Have you ever seen people who are enjoying the karmas, but still they are okay? They are not bothered by their own karmas. They know what to do with that. They know where to go. That is what we want. That is where we have to go. Not we going to say that, oh, karmas are very bad, you don't enjoy karma. That is a wrong understanding. At the same time, somebody might say, no, no, no problem. Just enjoy karmas and then immerse with the karma. There's no set boundaries. That is also another. What Buddhists are doing here is that, yes, I have to enjoy my karmas, but I have my own discipline. I have a good discipline on my own karmas. I have discipline on my rupa sides, enjoy my sides. I have a discipline on the sounds, whatever the songs I hear, right? Whatever the hearings I have, whatever the smell I have a boundary. The food cannot take me over. I can take over the food. What is happening to many people? Food is going to take them over. The taste finally going to take them over. Somebody might, no, it's okay. I understand the food. This taste has to be understood. It's not that taste is going to take me over. And then the pottabba touch. Yes, there are super comfy places, maybe a bed, maybe a comfortable place, maybe a house. Yes, as human beings, you may need a good place to stay, but never ever be taken over by the touch. So you should be able to discipline yourself about the use of the touch. And then the thoughts. Yes, we all would like to stay a day with good thoughts, good attitudes. But sometimes we cannot, right? You have to talk to people whom you don't like. You have to work with the people who you might not be comfortable. Is it bad? No, it's a good opportunity to practice Dhamma. Whenever you are meeting a person that you don't like, try to make it an opportunity to practice Dhamma. Okay, today I know that things might not work the way I want, but I have to understand what is going on. Maybe I may have lots of disappointment, lots of displeasure, but I understand there may be a better way to work with this person, right? So you are minimizing your actually dukkha can be minimized if you know the true Dhamma, right? Because that is how we understand the karma. So karma tanha is a problem. Your experience of karma can become a tanha when you do not understand how to set the boundaries, how to discipline yourself with those things. And then the second one is bhavatanha, as you can see over here. Bhavatanha. Bhavatanha means becoming. All right. Now, have you seen some devotees, some people, even in our Buddhist temples, they are always thinking, I'm going to offer dana because next life I want to be a big deva, somewhere in the world, like a big deva, That has some bhavatanha. Why you want to become a big deva? If you do a good karma, it will give you the big deva thing, right? So we don't have to think a lot about the effect at that point. Just do the good things, right? But as I said earlier, one day I think there may be a very poor person. There may be a person who has, I would say, nothing in his or her life. So if that person is to go to a vihara or a place and to wish something, I don't think it's a bad thing because that person has not enjoyed the life that much. At least there is a way for that person to think about his or her life next, even this life. But for other people who understand Dhamma, they are not supposed to make a wish as such. If they are making a wish as such, then what is happening is that it can become a bhavatanha. So bhavatanha means don't wish to become, but try to do the good things in a skillful way with the kusala things. Then the rest will be taken care by your activities. But don't think that I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be reborn as such. XYZ people, don't make that. That is called bhavatanha. But in some suttas, like you can see Patama Samajivi Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, where one couple, Sotapanna couple, they are a Sotapanna couple. Nakula Mata, Nakula Pitta, they have been reborn like 500 times together. They are Sotapannas now. They are asking the Buddha Bhante, we have been married together for 500, we have been married for 40 years almost. Ever since I married my wife, Nakula Mata, I have never thought about any other woman. What a great man is that, huh? Do you find those people in today's world? And then I feel that I want to be reborn with Nakula Mata in my next life. And Nakula Mata was also telling the Buddha, Bhante, I married Nakula Pitta 40 years ago. And ever since I married to him, I have never thought about any other man. So I also want to be reborn with him. Then the Buddha said, yes, it is possible. As long as you have four things, if you have equal trust between each other, if you have equal discipline between each other, if you have equal generosity between each other, if you have equal wisdom between each other, it is possible. Buddha never said, never wish next life. Because Buddha knows Sotapanna has already entered into the Dhamma journey. There may be only 7 lives. So there are places like that that has a counter argument to this Dhammacakkappavattana. Actually, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is talking a very high bar, high layer of the Dhamma. But there are certain exceptions that we have to understand. It doesn't say that don't wish next life, but don't do things for the next life. Just do good things and the rest will be taken care. Now, if there is a devotee who is bringing dana to the temple and thinking that may I be rich in my next life just by offering something, that will be a certain kind of a bhavatana, right? And then and it's like a it's like a depositing money into a fixed deposit, in a bank. If you are creating investment with that particular thing, right? And that kind of a thing might not be a good idea. But what I say is that just do the good things without strings attached to it. But it doesn't mean that you may have a wish for the next life. But do not try to always engage in activities for the next life, because that can become a bhavatanha. Then vibhavatanha, third type of tanha is called vibhavatanha. Vibhavatanha means craving for non-becoming. Now, if you look at some of the religions, especially the Abrahamic religions, I'm not going to say what they are, you know them. These Abrahamic religions, they are talking about there's one life, there's no next life, right? They might say this is the only life. So that is kind of a vibhavatanha. Because if you have that kind of thought, then what is happening is that you are not understanding good and bad, good karma, bad karma, and your practice. So that's why Buddha said, do not get stuck, fall prey to kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. So they are part of the craving, right? There are 3 types of craving. Now, let me tell you something. How many of you have heard about some other Pali words such as Chanda, Pali word Chanda? Maybe I'm going to go to the notes now during our time. See the notes. All right. The Pali word Chanda. Chanda. Chanda means Chanda. Chanda means desire, right? Desire. Now, if you look at many suttas where Buddha asks us to practice samma vayama, right effort, I think you may have learned that in one of the weeks before. Buddha said, Chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabati chittam pagganati padahati Chandang janeti. We have to create desire, but this desire is not the English desire. In the philosophy, now if you are a person come from philosophy, that desire could be a different type of desire. But here the Buddha says that we need to have a certain desire to wish. Now, let's say we all want to attain Nibbana. Isn't that a wish? Or is it a chanda? Is it a chanda or is it a tanha? Is it a chanda? We have a desire to become an arahant. We have a desire to stop this samsara one day. So we call it as a chanda, not a lobha, not a tanha. So chanda and tanha are two different things. Don't try to get stuck by not understand the difference between these two. So when somebody asks, you are a Buddhist and you are saying that you want to attain Nibbana and you want to stop tanha, but wishing to be an arahant can be a tanha, because you are trying to expect that. No, it's not a tanha, it is a chanda. A chanda can be a good thing or a bad thing, but tanha is always an akusala. But chanda can be a kusala or akusala. So, wishing to become an arahant, wishing to attain Nibbana, wishing to enter into Dhammanusari, Saddhanusari, pre-Sotapanna states, and then perhaps Sotapanna, they are okay. They are chanda. So don't get stuck with the Pali word chanda. That is what we want. Let me read the text. Although tanha is associated with an external object, it's not the object itself that generates it. Rather, it is the feeling that arises in relation to the object. Consequently, tanha arises relative to the feeling. All right. This is a very important point. What's the Pali word for the feeling? Vedana. Now, someone might ask, Bhante, we don't know where we are, how we are entering into tanha. What is the no point return to tanha? That is called Vedana. If you do not take care of your Vedana properly, then you are entering into tanha. So tanha arises as a misapplication of, misinterpretation of, mispractice of Vedana. So if you are really concerned about that, I don't want to go to tanha, then take care of your feeling well. If you understand your feeling, sukha, dukkha, adukkama sukha, that means pleasant, unpleasant, and neither unpleasant, pleasant feeling, then whenever you are enjoying one of these feelings, because these are the feelings that are happening all the time to us, then you are not bringing your feeling to tanha, because feelings are the ones which will at the end eventually become tanha. There is no new tanha. All tanhas come after feeling, after a misunderstanding of feeling. If you understand your feeling well, if you know what to do with your feeling, there will be no tanha. It will be null and void at that point. Other people talk about, hey, no tanha, no to tanha. But how to understand tanha? How will my mental states become tanha? Only when you don't understand your own feelings, how to interpret your feelings, then only it will become a tanha. There are 108 feelings in the Abhidhamma, but I'm not going to talk about Abhidhamma at that point. I'm going to talk about Sutta Pitaka. In the Sutta Pitaka, there are three main feelings. In the Satipatthana Sutta's Vedananupasana, you might see 9 feelings, but normally we take 3 feelings. Pleasant, unpleasant, a neutral feeling. Let's talk about Vedana a little bit. Now, what is the feeling that you are having now? You are watching me now. I don't know where you are seated at the moment. Some are joined with video, some are joined audio. So you should have a feeling now. You should be, of course, feeling comfortable now. You have a Sukha Vedana now, isn't it? You are sitting here for 3-4 hours in the same seat. What will happen to you? Will you have a Sukha Vedana or you will have a Dukkha Vedana at that point? What Vedana will you get at that point? You will have a Dukkha Vedana. Of course, you will not be staying like that. I remember a very funny story that one of my professors told when he was explaining Vedana. This professor used to take a bus to go to a university far away, 100. Uh, one monk asked a question in his class, far away university, Professor, how do you explain Vedana? Then he said, 1 kilometers. Now, when I take the bus, I sit down, as you know, as a passenger. So then I know there are 100 kilometers. There are at that time there was no highway in Sri Lanka, a long time ago. So this bus has to go through all the cities for 4 hours. So I think for the first 40 minutes, first 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, I sit straight. I think this is the way that I feel happy. I feel comfortable. Okay. Then after 40 minutes, around 40 minutes, I feel no. Now I have to turn my legs to the right side of the seat. Then I will feel comfortable. Then I will go for maybe 30, 40 minutes like that. That means I thought my happiness is while sitting in this bus to other city was turning my legs to the right side. Then after probably 1 hour as such, he said, now I think I sat straight and then I sat to the right side. Now I want to bring my legs to the left side. And he's going there like probably in that posture for probably another 1 hour. Now still he feels uneasy, uncomfortable. Now after probably 1 hour. Then he was questioning the monks, what do you think about my happiness? Now I want to stand from my seat. That is my happiness at that point. But I cannot stand now because the bus is too small to stand. Right? So I thought my happiness is somewhere I change my postures. If you look at people's happiness, when you question them, what was your happiness? First 1 hour we did this, and then this thing we changing our wishes in a customizing way was our happiness. There was no happiness that was going what you call in one way, right? So this is what we need to understand in terms of Vedana. That means we may switch, we may turn, we may change our posture, we may move on to different postures. Yes, we are looking for the happiness, right? We are looking for our own happiness. But we have to understand while we are changing our postures, while we are moving on to different other stages in that particular activity, we should not get stuck in any of those things. We consciously understand that if we get stuck in one position, in one particular what you call state, in one particular framework, there we create tanha. Then the professor told the class students, then when I get off the bus, I wanted to feel to myself that I had no particular one type of comfortable feeling in my happiness, because happiness to me in the bus was changing my postures. Right? That was how I found happiness. I think a lot of people find happiness in that way, changing. Let's say today you eat sushi and tomorrow you want to eat something else. You're changing. The more you change your habits, the more you change your what you call objects, you might feel happiness. It is okay. It is good. You don't like to have kind of a monotonous kind of a thinking. But please keep in mind, when you change, never ever create a strong liking towards any of those things, any of those feelings. That strong liking will take you to an unnecessary tanha. So if you are concerned about your tanha, there is a way to stop your tanha. There's a way to minimize your tanha, at least to minimize. That is to discipline your vedana, discipline your feeling. It means when you are experiencing the vedana, don't create lots of strong liking towards the vedana, rather than experience that particular state of mind. Let's browse through the text over here. Okay, I think you can see this over here. Can all of you see the fly over here? Level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay. Now, this is something I made by reading many suttas. Now, in the Dhamma, you don't have an issue to have likes and dislikes. Let's say now you want to eat something, you want to take a shower, you want to go somewhere, you want to talk to somebody, you want to read a book, you want to do a hobby. There's no problem. It's a like. At the same time, now you are in a room. There is a snake come into your room. Will you accept the snake? No. You say, no, 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 no to the snake. I dislike you coming. You are an uninvited guest to my house. Right? So you dislike. And then probably there are many things like that. You might simply dislike. Funny enough, no social media has still made an emoji to dislike. They will put like, no dislike, like, and then present emojis. They never put dislike. Maybe a devil face, right? Because then people will start expressing their disappointment, frustration over certain post. So dislike is not akusala. We may have to dislike certain things, but we don't have to be very expressive about it. I don't like you. No, we feel it. We feel what we want. We feel what we don't want, right? So taking a shower, maybe saying no to a certain food, maybe saying no to a certain uninvited person is not akusala. But look at this chart. How is akusala being created? Now, some likes, if you are not concerned about those likes, they can become lobha, second stage. This is not a good one. And some dosa, when you hatred, dosa. Now, Dhamma folks, just imagine that you want to have a shower. Maybe you want a certain food and you are so addicted about it. You are so addicted about that. Then it can become a lobha. Lobha is you may dislike a certain person. Let's say you may dislike that snake and you may try to grab a stick and then trying to attack that snake. I want to kill this snake. That is hatred, those. Maybe you might think, no, 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 I'm not going to do that. Let him go. I don't have to be very much excited about it. That is still dosa, what you call dislike, not dosa. But be careful. Don't let your likes become lobha. Don't let your dislikes become dosa. Some people even cannot stop from this place. They even go higher. Their greed can go to abhijja, covetousness. Their hatred can go to vyapada, ill will. This is a very difficult stage. Very bad state of mind. See how people are going through their life. Covetousness and vyapada. This is what you learn in the Satipatthana Sutta. If you go back to Satipatthana Sutta, why do we need to meditate? Why? Has anybody asked you why do you meditate? You might think, why do you ask? Huh? We just meditate to relax. We just meditate to become arahant. No. There is a particular phrase at the end of Satipatthana Sutta, each exercise, which the Buddha says, why do you meditate? Why? Kaye kayanupassye viharati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijja domanas. Vedanasu vedananupassye viharati satima vinaya loke atapi sampajano vinaya loke abhijja domanas. Chitte chittanupassye viharati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijja domanas. Dhamme dhammanupassye viharati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijja domanas. What is this last phrase? Vinaya loke abhijja domanas. That is the purpose of our meditation. We want to practice meditation, satipatthanas, to avoid abhijja, this one. This is that one, actually, nothing else. Abhijja, not avijja, okay? Avijja, covetousness. And then domanasa means vyapad, ill will, kind of grief. That means avijja, that means if you are saying that you are somebody who is meditating, you must have little avijja, little vyapad. All right. So let's go back to our text again here. So please understand the difference between lobha and tanha and that chart about your likes and dislikes. Minimum level of tanha is what you call Vedana. Now, although Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta mentions tanha as kama, bhava, vibhava, some other suttas mention tanha as rupa tanha, saddha tanha, gandha tanha, rasa tanha, pottabha tanha, dhamma tanha. So there are two ways to interpret, understand tanha. I think we have already come to the conclusion of this second noble truth because of the time constraint. What I can summarize to you at this point before we go for the Q&A is that tanha is a place to understand our mental states, how far our mental states can work in terms of kusala and akusala. There's a way to discipline our tanha. It is by understanding our feeling, our vedana part. That is the only thing you can do. That is the no point return. If you cannot take care of vedana, then it will definitely become a tanha. So every time you are enjoying your vedana, try to discipline yourself. Then you are on the safer side.
Perhaps I can kickstart the Q&A session, Bhante, by asking a question.
Yes, please.
Bhante mentioned that Bhante mentioned the story of, I think there's the sutta where the old couple, they were living happily and they wanted to be reborn together. Yeah, in the next life. And then that strangely the Buddha laid out the conditions to be reborn together. And instead of how to say discouraging rebirth and those sort of things. And I also came across another sutta which kind of, how to say, kind of contradicts the kind of story, in the sense that I think there's Anguttara Nikaya Book of One, there's one very short sutta where the Buddha mentioned that just as the little bit of urine, feces, or blood or pus things, I do not condone.
Praise the existence.
Yeah, even for fingers, moment of finger snap. So how do we reconcile these two?
A very simple answer.
Huh?
A very simple answer. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta was given to the monks. Patama Samajivi Sutta was given to the lay people. So, the sutta that you just now said, the Buddha said, I never ever praise to be reborn, the rebirth for a split second.
Yes.
It is going to the monk side. It is going for the monastics, not for the lay people. I mean, Patama Samajivi Sutta and many other suttas, they are for the lay people. So that is why we have to understand that the emphasis of the Dhamma goes in two ways. But if you are too serious about the practice, you may choose the path of a monk. But as a layperson, you need to understand the lay people's teachings as well. I think nowadays, most of the Dhamma teachings you hear, they were mostly given to monks. And then the speakers are giving them without telling that these were given to the monks. And then the lay people think that we have to practice everything that we see in all these suttas, which is a misunderstanding. That's why I tell you why when the Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita said, Bhante, we want to be reborn together. He never said this is bad. Why is it? Because he knew Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita, they are Sotapannas already. They are married couple They are Sotapannas. Because even if they wish to be together, they already had entered into the stream. So it's not a risk, right? That's why we have to understand these teachings depending on the sutta. There is no contradiction. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is given for the Pabbajita. You can see Pabbajitena Sevita. Pabbajita means those who have left the house. Brother, I think we are getting questions over here.
Yes.
Oh, a lot of questions coming up.
Yes.
But does that mean that we control our feeling Vedana? Our reaction is, no, we don't control anything. In Buddhism, we are not controlling anything. It's like that you are pushing a ball in the water. You just imagine, you are pushing a ball in the ocean, maybe in an aquatic place, watery place. So once you take your foot off, the ball will come back. It's not controlling. We are not controlling the mind. We are disciplining the mind. We are disciplining the mind. How to discipline the mind? Understanding the mind. Understanding means no control. When you understand, now say for instance, you have a person whom you are difficult dealing with. But when you understand more about that particular person, it is easy to live with that person. When you understand a lot of things in your life, life becomes very easy. Then everything will become very convenient, comfortable. Now, the question here, we don't control our feeling. What we do is that we are going to look at our feeling and not creating greed onto the feeling. Let's say I'm having a happy feeling now. I'm not creating the greed for this. Let's say I'm having a negative feeling now. I'm not creating greed for that. Maybe a dosa for that. I'm having a neutral feeling. I'm not creating a greed for that. That is what we are supposed to do before it becomes a tanha. If you are not disciplining your feeling, then it will become a tanha for sure. Dear Bhante, if Vedana is initial tanha, okay, is it pleasant Vedana, unpleasant Vedana, or neither pleasant nor unpleasant Vedana? Yeah, Vedana has been explained in many suttas, but there are three main varieties of Vedana. So as I said earlier, if you really want to work on your tanha, if you don't want to create tanha, then work on your Vedana. That means whenever you have a happy feeling, you try to understand your happy feeling. You are not creating greed onto that. Whenever you have an unpleasant feeling, don't create hatred towards it. Just practice upekka on that. Right? So in that way, you are trying to understand your Vedana and disciplining yourself about your Vedana. That will stop creating tanha. The 7 rebirth of a Sotapanna. Yeah, so some Sotapannas, okay, here's the thing. There are 3 types of Sotapannas. The first one is Ekabiji, one who is going to be reborn one more life. Then Kolankola, someone Sotapanna who is going to be reborn between 2 to 6 rebirths from that last life. No, from that particular life. And Sattakattupparama, the one who can, one Sotapanna who will take a risk of being reborn for 7 more lifetimes. So there are 3 types of Sotapannas. Bhante, by making an aditthana aspiration to be born in the Tushita heaven, does it constitute to Chanda? I think it's a Chanda, it's not Tanha. Aditthana is a part of Chanda, it's inclusive of Chanda. It's a paramita as well. Aditthana is a paramita. That means you are making a resolution. Actually, better term is you are making an aspiration, not resolution. How many people are making resolutions on January 1st? They are not making it happen before December 31st. They are so much, worried about it. I made 5 resolutions this year, cut down my weight, and then cut my belly, but nothing is gonna work because it's not a realistic resolution. So we make aspirations, not resolutions. Then you are going to break the activity into a couple of years. It's not my 2024 aspiration only. Cutting down on my weight within a 5 years of time, within at least a 2 years of time. Let's be realistic. I say making all the wishes on the 1st of January and thinking that I'm going to be making them happen within 365 days. No, it's going to happen. So Aditana is a part of Chanda. It's a good one. Yabante, is the human existence the best plane to practice and understand the Four Noble 4NP? I'm learning a lot of acronyms from the friends. 4NP, Four Noble.
Probably
8
Four
Noble
Noble
Path,
Truths.
probably. Yeah, 8 4. It should be Four Noble Truths or 8 Four Noble. Anyways, you are asking me, I know brother Ian from Penang. You're asking, is the human existence the best plane? Yes. Because when you are a human, you don't have lots of suffering, lots of happiness. So it's a perfect place to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. But be careful. You need to be reborn in a good place in the human world. You're going to be reborn in a place where you don't have enough needs, right? So as we have dire experience on Tanha and Padana, yes, best place to be reborn in a better place so that you can practice Dhamma. If a Sotapanna takes rebirth as a human, will he, she remember that he, she is a Sotapanna already? Yes. Dhamma practice is not a one-like practice. This is a sansaric practice. I think a lot of people misunderstand. They think that when they go to a vihara and then engage in the vihara activities and practice more meditation, they will be able to take care of everything. No. It might be a little bit, but this, what you call the path, Noble Eightfold Path, is a sansaric practice. And you may do more in this life. Perhaps you will make it. Perhaps you will have to work on it in couple many lives. Sotapanna, continue from there or has to start? No. Nobody has to start over. None of us has started over. We have continued, good or bad. So now say, for instance, there are some human beings who have never gone to a vihara, but still you see that they are good people. Why is it? Because they have been continuing their whatever the practice in their life, maybe a Christian practice, Hindu practice, whatever. Right? There may be some other people who have been to a vihara, but they have been creating some akusalas as well, with the herd mentality. Why is it? Because they are not understanding the true Dhamma. Because you have to understand the Dhamma and then to engage in the activities. Right? I mean, I'm not disregarding, insulting anybody who are going to viharas and doing things. I appreciate you, but just because you are doing something in a certain way, that does not guarantee that you are doing the right thing. So you have to always understand whether this is the proper way. What is the difference between disciplining the mind, disciplining the feeling? Okay, so disciplining the mind means disciplining the feeling as well. Because when you discipline your mind, how do you interpret your feeling? How do you say that it's a good feeling? Because you are creating sanya for that. Now let's say you are tasting a food, certain food. You are gonna make a statement. This food is so good, delicious, yummy, and good and whatever. How do you make it? You are going to compare this particular experience of the food with another experience before. Right? There's a comparison happening. So that means sanya is involved. In order to understand the Vedana or feeling, sanya has to be there because you are going to make a comparison. Then mind is totally connected. Because of the mind, there are sanya, there are Vedana and all that. So mind is the, what you call, the main thing that has, what you call, experiences, that has interpretations, that has explanations, everything. That is why I said disciplining the mind takes care of everything. So discipline the mind, that's it. Don't control anything. Isn't the feeling arise from our mind? Yeah, they are mutually connected. But You cannot discipline your feeling without disciplining your mind. Because Buddha said, what the Buddha said was, take care of your thoughts. When you take care of your thoughts, feeling is automatically disciplined. Because feeling has a lot of interpretation, sanyas. So when you are, how do you say that? Couple things in one particular activity, right? How do I say that? 4 in 1. You leave out the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vinyana, 4 aggregates. If you discipline the mind, you take care of 4 of them. So 4 in 1. So just discipline the mind to take care of your feeling, discipline the feeling as well. Last question as per now. Bhante, those on the path to become Sotapanna, Magga, are they protected from taking rebirth in the lower realm? Yes. Yes. Where did the Buddha say that? Buddha said that in the Ratana Sutta. How did he say that? Can you remember Ratana Sutta? Buddha said clearly they are exempt from being reborn in the apayas. It is clearly given. We can search Ratana Sutta and then I will show you how the Buddha said that. Ratana Suttas. So you can see that in the text. Yeah. So Buddha clearly said that if you are a Sotapanna, you will not be reborn in lower realms, I would say, in the apayas. That's why it is imperable and it's imperative that everyone has to work on to become Sotapanna. That helps them to practice the rest. What is the difference between Tanha and Lobha? All right. So Lobha is a state of mind where you are creating on the path to making it a Tanha. It's a pre-state before Tanha. That means just because we have Lobha, we don't necessarily carry Tanha. But Lobha will definitely take us to Tanha if we are not really understanding the craving part, clinging part, craving part onto that. So Lobha is a normal state of mind. Let's say you are greedy or simply greedy about something. But that doesn't make that you are having Tanha. But if you are creating a lot of Lobha, and then that will intensify your state of mind to have Tanha. Okay. But likewise, if a friend cook dana, if food is not tasty, how should we answer the truth? I think that's a very good question. All questions are good. Okay. So lying and speaking the truth have to be done by understanding the situation. Let me suggest you another example. Let's say there is a very important truth that I know, that you know. But when you are to say that truth to two people, and you know that maybe you're one person, that this person or maybe two people are going to clash between each other just because of this truth. So according to the Buddha, we are not supposed to deliver that truth at that time. Maybe we avoid that moment. Maybe we are going to say something else. And don't think that I'm talking you to lie, make a white lie. I'm trying to say that whenever we speak, we have to understand what will happen immediately. Now, say for instance, someone, I think your question was cooking dana, right? Okay, friend cook dana, if food is not so tasty. Okay, why we are looking for that kind of over tasty state of mind? Because that means we are having lots of tanha even before that friend's done, right? Why should we always look for the taste? Sometimes some people, even the good people who cook well, they are not probably making well on that day. Maybe they have other problems. right? So I think the first thing is we have to be grateful to the person who is making that food on that. That's number one. But if that person is asking the quality of the food, and if you really think that this person wants to know the quality of the food and the experience, you can personally have a word if the person is interested to know about it. Otherwise, my understanding is we are not worrying about someone's some amount of food. In a world of lot of frustrations and disappointments and things that we are experiencing, why do we have to comment on somebody's dana, right? I think it's not necessary, right? That's why in Sri Lankan context, there are devotees who are not adding salt onto the dana. And then when the monks are going to eat that dana, they cannot eat because there is not enough salt and whatever, because they think that tasting the food before offering dana is a bad karma. So you are making sangha as a guinea pig, which is not a good one, right? They are not guinea pigs, like using mouse and rats, cockroaches for human treatments, right? So what I understand is that number one is that being appreciative about someone's food. But if that person is a good friend of you, if that person wants to know about the quality of dana, you can put a word. I feel like that. Maybe you can, if you want, you can change. Otherwise, don't make a public saying, "Yeah, the food is not nice today." That shows how much craving you have. That is not good for you in person and even in your spiritual life. So don't rush to. You may do that in a restaurant, when the waiters are asking, "How is the food? Not nice today," because you are paying for it, but not in this kind of a situation, because we understand certain things. Can we say craving is akusala chanda? Yeah, it could be. And then Bhante, how does one know if one has attained sotapanna? Okay. Under three things, one can know whether one has attained sotapanna. Do you remember the sotapanna wife of a hunter? There is a sutta which I cannot remember now. There is a sotapanna wife of a hunter. Every morning she has to give the arrows and then the bow and everything for the husband, because that is how they are living. So how come a sotapanna person is going to help out? That is her responsibility, right? There are many stories as such. So what we understand is that there may be a lot of sotapannas among us. We never know. One can do a self check-in about this thing, whether I have less sakkaya ditthi. I don't expect popularity. I don't expect credits. I don't expect other people's praise that much. Everybody wants, but not that much. I have less doubts about 8 things. I have less silapat paramas. Then you know that you have come to the sotapanna. But if you are someone who has unnecessary sila, always trying to emulate other people, even in the Bihar, I want to do this thing. I don't like other people take up this job. That means you have lots of sakkaya that you have never attained sotapanna. Don't even think about it. Do that self-check-in. So if you are not creating identification a lot, that means you have come to a certain stage of that practice, sotapanna. If you have less doubts, if you have no what you call silapada parama, that is how you can know whether you have attained sotapatti or not. Okay, the person is, I think, asking a second question about that food problem. She asks, how is to say yes? Go and tell her. If she asks you personally, go and tell her, because maybe she wants to do the dana better in the next time, isn't it? So you can tell that honestly. But if there's a personal request as such, you have to tell the truth. But if this is a very what you call a public request, how was the dana today I made? Say, this food is not good today. This is not good today. I think that's not nice, because we understand the people's feelings. We don't want to offend anybody, right? So I think two situations. Yeah. Right? Only by achieving Sotapanna level can bring the Dhamma they have learned from their past life. No, it not even by becoming a Sotapanna. I mean, everybody, all of us have been bringing Dhamma forward to the next life, good way or bad way. But if you have come to that, even the pre-Sotapanna stages, Dhammamsari, Saddhamsari, Sotapanna, then you are making sure that you are not going to be reborn in the hells. You are going to finish your sansaric journey within a 7 lifetime. So that's a happiness to them. So yeah, so you don't have to become a Sotapanna to bring your Dhamma journey to the next life, because we all been carrying our Dhamma journey next life. The only thing is that our Dhamma journey may not be intensified, may not be very strong enough, right? That's why you have to learn the true Dhamma, true practice, right? Don't waste your time, right? The time is very important, because otherwise you will listen to things, you will learn, but there is no practice. There's no way to practice, because you are not understanding it properly. Timing is very important.